everybody. Let's try that again. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Javier In The Air. I just want to give a shout out to all the people that are brand new coming to the show. For those of you that have been sending comments, thank you very much. I have been listening to them, trying to make changes here and there. For those of you that are new, welcome to the show. As someone asked me, the first half of the show is really about anything and everything in and around Cedar Park. Doesn't not necessarily, but for the main part, I'll talk about different subjects. I'll do something called Trash in the Hood, which you'll see here shortly, and then I will do sometimes some healthy topics and some other interviews as well, reviews of mom and pop shops around town and that sort of thing. So it just kind of depends on what happens that week, that I be able to get involved in some things, see some things, and record some things. I try to stay away, or I do stay away from politics and religion. We have enough of that already in all the other places in the internet, and I like to keep my corner of it dry and free and clear of those. So everything else is up for grabs. So if you have something you're interested in, passionate about, would like to be on the show for, just reach out to me either here on my YouTube show, Javier In The Air, or any other way you know how to get a hold of me. So, first part of the show is going to be Trash in the Hood. For those of you that are new, Trash in the Hood, I have for the past 66 weeks tried to motivate myself by being are getting healthier, and one of the things I've been doing has been walking 2 to 3 times to 4 to 5 times, depending on how adventurous I get or how much energy I have a week. And doing so, I walk around my neighborhood. And why do I try to stick to my neighborhood? Because my neighborhood has trash in the streets that I pick up. So 1, it keeps me accountable, and 2, it helps clean up the streets. So I like doing it. I've gotten some shout outs from people who are either watch this show, thank you, or who have seen my posting on nextdoor.com. I do not do any shaming or doxing of any kind. I don't say who did what. I just find the trash, I record it, and I put it on this show and on Nextdoor. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go to Trash in the Hood. Dark Frog Social Media presents Trash in the Hood, Week 66. Alright, so this is Week 66, Day 1, which means it's Monday. So, as you can tell, there was a lot of miscellaneous junk. I think the lawnmower guys for the commercial side of the, or non-residential side of the street on Hatch and El Salito have done their work, because everything was pretty much shredded. But there were some water bottles, and I found some gloves and a broken glass bottle. I think that's all from the lawnmower. But what I did find an abundance of was cigarette butts, as usual. And if you look at the top right, in the red circle was actually a bullet, a small little tiny bullet. I don't know anything about calibers, so I don't know what bullet this was, what it would fit into, or anything like that, but I thought it was interesting. So here is day 3, so that's a Wednesday, and you see there's a lot more junk now. So empty 6-box or 12-pack of some sort of energy drink, bunch of candy wrappers, and of course water bottles and whatnot, and then the usual cigarette butts. And I found another Scottish Terrier keychain type thing that's there at the bottom leftish, almost a little bit from the bottom left. Very interesting. This is the second one of this type that I've found. And then this leads into day 4. Day 4 was after a lot of rain had come through, and before the next round of rain came through. So it was all the streets had been washed down. They were pretty clean. Most of this was found in the grass. Again, probably from when the lawnmowers came and started exposing stuff that I've missed in the weeks prior. There was a little electronic device that you see at the top, or middle top, and so it was interesting, and very little amount of cigarette butts. Must be because of the rain. So there you have it, Trash in the Hood. And I explained already on this show, and just about every week, why I do it. But I'm beginning to find myself really enjoying the hunt so to speak. How many cigarette butts am I going to get this week? Am I going to find something unusual this week? Is there something that I will find that I will add to my project that I will be working on that I'll tell you about here? Maybe by the end of the year I can get it going. If not, it'll be beginning of next year. Speaking of next year, I've been looking at what I can do for season 5. This is a breakthrough for me. Every new episode is a breakthrough for me, a new record for Hav, and a new record for Javier In The Air. So, what is it that I can do? If you have any ideas, comments, or suggestions of what I can do to add to my show to make it even more viewer friendly and all that sort of nonsense that you would see, just give me a shout out and let me know. I'd love to try something new on the show. I have a couple of ideas that I've already put down, and I will hopefully be able to implement them. Nothing too crazy. I'm trying to keep my shows now to about 30 to 35 minutes or less. If something will go over, we'll make it a two-parter. If I can get a co-host for a couple of shows, that would be great. I have the beer tasting that I always do for, every year. I have the pumpkin every year. And I try to do something special for the holidays, any holiday in particular, or none in particular. So it's just kind of whatever grab bag comes out. So if you have any thoughts or ideas, let me know. If you'd like to be on the show, let me know. And so now we're going to go into the next section, which I think I'm going to mix it up. I think I'm going to go ahead and do a Zen moment. Now, for those of you who watched last week, who watched the Zen moment, you saw that it was Halloween themed. Well, since I already did that, I'm going to see if I can go for something else, or maybe I might do another Halloween. You never know. So let's see what you're going to get. On the day of the dead, when the year too dies, will the oldest hills open and the dead arise? But fear not those who hear me, for they are not here to do wrong, but to sing and laugh and rattle around and dance to the macabre song. The song that lifts them from the dirt, with blackened bodies and worm-torn shirt, to jitter and to jive and do the fandango. Why, that couple over there is doing the tango. They dance and dance throughout the night, and never do they try to fright, but bring a bit of laughter to this cemetery, for just 'cause they're dead, why can't they be merry? And right before the sun comes up, they all nod and climb back under, and go back again to the dirt-warmed bed, until the next Day of the Dead. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed the latest Zen moment. Please let me know if you did. If you did, please let me know. I'd like to get feedback one way or the other. I try to mix it up on the Zen moment. I know we did Halloween last week, so I did Halloween this week, but I did add a poem from Jay Anderson, a new fresh one from him, so that was good. Also, it is challenging to try to come up with something different, so because it's just me speaking into microphone, my thoughts sometimes just run in repetition, so sometimes you might see some of the same things or very similar things. I know Spirit Time can be sometimes the same thing, and in fact we're doing another one today, another cider, but there's not always a lot of repetition there because I try to mix it up, and there's so many different spirits and alcohols and wines out there. But for the rest of the show, it can be. So be sure and let me know if there's something you're missing. I know some people have asked a little bit about my healthy after 50 or over 50. So if you, I'll be bringing that back next week. So if you have something you would like to see on that bit or any other bits that I have, just let me know. So because I love repetition, I'm going to give you some more Halloween tidbits that I'm gonna have right now. Dark Frog Social Media presents the top five. All right, got to keep the classes on for this one. Got to keep them on. So here we are doing the top five. Now, there's a bunch of different ways that you could do top five for Halloween movies. I'm gonna do two, and then I'm gonna give some shout outs to different ones. And of course, this is based on a primitive, high level Google search. I'm sure you may have your own favorite Halloween movies, and if you're going to argue or dispute any of the ones I am not doing these in any order. But if I miss some, be sure and let me know by putting it in the comments or sending me a side note or sending me a message in any way you know how to get a hold of me. So, the first ones we're going to do are the top five scary Halloween movies. Now, a lot of places had top 10, but I am just going to do the top five because I know I can go on and on because I love to hear myself speak, and that way we will be here forever. So I'm also trying to angle it so that I don't see the window. You can see my monitors if I do that. So I'm trying to find a good spot, but I still got to look at the camera, and I can't find a good spot. So I'm just going to kind of sit here and do this. Hopefully, when I switch over, I won't be doing this too much, but who knows? Let's find out. So, number one, top scary, The Exorcist, 1973. I gotta tell you that has stayed with me forever. It is scary, and it's very scary, and it's got that dark religious supernatural theme that runs throughout it. You don't know, lots of twists and turns, a lot of dark scenes in there. And one of the best things about horror movies is how they use the shadow. Dark things, stuff coming out of the dark. They're in the dark. Blonde girls running down the stairs into the basement. Why? We don't know. But for The Exorcist, they kept everything very dark for the most part, and I think it's one of the scariest movies ever. Good reason why I don't like Soup. If those of you who watched it, you know what I'm talking about. Linda Blair did a fantastic job. So I'm going to skip over some of these other ones because I don't know them as well, and they're just not that scary to me from what growing up as a kid. Now, here's another one. I'll put it as it's number two in the list, but remember the list doesn't really go. The Shining with Jack Nicholson. Another one of those absolutely scary movies. Shelley Duvall was messed up mentally after the movie. Turns out that they were jacking with her the entire time. So that makes the movie even scarier because she was going in and out of reality from what I understand, and it just makes your skin crawl. It's just one of those that just does it for you. Another original, we'll put it on the list as number three, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So for those of you who may not have seen the original and you haven't done the dance with the chainsaw, you gotta see it. Not a lot of music to it, a lot of horror, a lot of horribleness to it, and it's just gross. It's unbelievable. It's always going to be up there in the top 10 or top 20 for the rest of its life, which is pretty much forever. Made me look at a chainsaw a different way. Let's go to a series of movies which unfortunately have not worn that well. Let's go to the Friday the 13th series. Now, the first one with Kevin Bacon, for those of you Kevin Bacon enthusiasts who haven't seen it, check out the scene. You'll know when it's him. The first couple started out pretty good. The Halloween 2 was kind of a farce type of thing. It was kind of a weird thing. I'm sorry, I went to Halloween. I meant Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, the first two were kind of good, and then the third and fourth and fifth weren't that good, but the fifth and sixth were good. I can go on forever because there's like 13 of them. So Friday the 13th, another great series. And then I'm going to go into the last one for scary movies, which is the Halloween series. If you haven't seen it, the original one, fantastic, hits all the scary levels. Jamie Lee Curtis does a fantastic job. Yes, that mask is William Shatner. It gets kicked around every Halloween. They talk about it. It is William Shatner. It is a mask of William Shatner that they used for the movie because they were on a cheap budget, and it was the first mask they found like at a Halloween store or just a store that has a Halloween section in it. Halloween series again. The first one fantastic. The second one went off the rails. I don't know what happened. Kind of like Highlander 2. Third, fourth, and on did a fantastic job. And then they brought back Jamie Lee, and she plays a scary person just in and of herself because she's been through so much. She doesn't really want to do anything, and she's kind of detached from reality as well. But fantastic series, and there's the top 5. If you have any discussion with it, maybe want to throw out like Hellraiser, or they want to throw something else in there, be sure and let me know. All right. All right, so let's now go to the 5 funniest Halloween movies. So again, this is not in any particular order. I know some people are going to freak out, um, and so let's just do it, and then you can get back to me via comment, suggestion, or whatnot. So let's see what we have here. There's a lot of them this time. This is the same as the other ones, but I'm going to go through and spot the ones that I know everyone else likes. First of all, let's just go with it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown is a great little older show that talks about the great pumpkin that comes and gives candy out to all the good children on Halloween. So it's a tongue-in-cheek, kind of a sad little story, but it just hangs around and they play it every year. So, and I think it's a dark, funny type thing. Here's another one, Young Frankenstein. I know it's not necessarily a Halloween one, but I'm throwing it out there because it's got Frankenstein in it. So, and I'm sorry, Frankenstein for those who know. So it's just one of the best, better ones I've ever seen. And again, it's basically Halloween related. I'm scrolling through a list here, so I think one of the next ones that I've seen lately, it's funny in its own way. Some people think it's a little. They've kind of kicked it to death now by keep throwing stuff out there. But the original Hocus Pocus, with Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Najimy, they just had the right comedic chemistry going on there that made it a really good little film. And I totally enjoyed it, so it was really good. Let's see, going through the list again. Well, Nightmare Before Christmas. Some people always dispute it that it's a Christmas one because of what happens through the show. But it basically is a Halloween show because they're coming from Halloween Town. And the main person, the main character, is coming off of a great Halloween, but now is bored and sad because it only happens once a year. And there's a great misunderstanding that happens. Great stop motion cinematography, and if you like Tim Burton, this is the one for you. It has become a cult classic. Let's see, number 4, or the fourth one I should say, is probably, where is it? I'm looking for it. Nope. I still don't see it. There it is. Beetlejuice. Yes, I don't want to say it 3 times because we know what's going to happen. Though, if Beetlejuice were to show up here, and or Michael Keaton, it would be the greatest. So Beetlejuice, if you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. Really takes you through some of the dark, and it's got a ton of great, fantastic actors in it. So definitely watch it. Now, one that I can't find anywhere on this list, but Brother Rob knows what I'm talking about. We're gonna go with Once Bitten. Once Bitten is a Halloween one. Actually, it's not the one that Brother Rob knows. He knows another one that we won't go into here. We maybe give it a shout out because it does have a vampire in it. But Once Bitten, with a stellar crew, not very well known, but still very good. And it is from the 80s. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it's fantastic. And so you just have to watch it. It's a vampire movie, so it's very good. So there you have the top 5. Okay, there you go, everybody. So before I finish up, let's do our last one. Let's do our Spirit Times. Dark Frog Social Media presents Spirit Time. This week, Blueberry Pineapple Cider. Okay, so before I finish up with Spirit Time, gotta have a little water and stay hydrated, everyone. I know we've moved into our rainy time for Texas. It's not really our rainy time. It just happens to be a time when it's raining, and that happens to be right now of all things. So you don't have to stay as hydrated. You would think you should always stay hydrated anyway. Drink your 8 glasses of water, which is a rule of thumb, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. So, but drink water. All right, so now for our Spirit Time, we're going into the area of San Diego, California. This is Castellum Ciders, and out of San Diego, of course, like I said. This is their blueberry pineapple cider, yes, I like to say cider. This is 6.5% ABV, and it's a very plainish. Let me see if I can get the color right. There's not much to it. I bet you there's something here on this QR code, though. It's almost like the hills of California. So there's the Castellum ciders, and then there's the blueberry pineapple. So let's have a go and see what happens. So yes, I've been doing a lot of ciders. Thank you for mentioning that, people who are like, when are you going to get on to the next one? And the next one is going to be probably a beer, but it could be a wine or an alcohol. So if you have anything that you'd like to see me try on the show, by all means, just send me a message. So let's go into it, shall we? Now, we don't like to put as much head as we do on a beer, even though this isn't as cold as it can be, so it does give a little bit of extra foam on there. So I'm trying to pour as much as I can in the glass, but there's a lot of foam there right now. So let's see what I can get out of it. So for those of you who may not have had cider before, shame on you. If you live in the Pacific Northwest or you live in the upper East Coast, cider is abundant. There are so many varieties of apples that can be turned into cider, and then on top of that you can add other fruit into the fermentation process as well. So if you haven't tried it, I say give it a try. You don't have to necessarily have sweet ciders. I was talking to someone this week about how they don't like sweet ciders at all, and there are many ciders that will be considered dry, and some very dry, that even though they're cider and technically they're made from apples, they have other things in there that keep it on a dry level. And then you start having the sweet ciders that everybody knows, and then you have the super sweet ones that even I don't like. They're very cloying. It's just too sweet. So here's our blueberry pineapple, really dark, taking on the color of the blueberries, of course, which is a dark purple. And then, of course, the pineapple, which is yellow, just gets washed away in this. Now this first, right off the bat, it's not very sweet. Heading towards dry, but not too dry. It's not like a sherry or anything like that. It is definitely drier than I thought it would be. Something called blueberry pineapple, you would think it would hit you with the amount of sweetness, so it doesn't. There's something about it though that just strikes me as odd. I'm not sure what that is. It's one of those where it's like I don't know if blueberry pineapple combination is all that. So I'm definitely getting the sweetness with well, basically the sweetness from the blueberry, and from the pineapple I'm actually getting the tartness that's almost messing with the roof of my mouth. It's very interesting taste. It's not necessarily a bad taste. I just don't know if I would ever do blueberry and pineapple together. The juices are quite distinct and different that I wouldn't want to mix them together. But it is what it is. And like I said, it's not super sweet. It's not even. I wouldn't even consider it sweet. So it's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and give this 6 thumbs up out of 10. Castellum out of San Diego. If you disagree with my review rating, by all means, you're able more than happy to get on the show, come on the show, dispute it with me, talk a little bit more about why y'all decided to go with blueberry and pineapple together. And perhaps you can bring some other samples as well. If you can't make it out to the Cedar Park area, you can always send me the samples and a video of what you want to talk about, or just a letter talking about why you think it deserves a better rating than 6 out of 10. So there you have it. There's our spirit time. If you want to see something again that I've already tasted, if you'd like to go back to the 100 beer, or 1 beer a day for 100 days that I did on Facebook, you can find it under myself, or you can look for under the Boutique. Boutique is a great beer bottle shop that I'm not getting paid to endorse them. I just like those guys anyway. So this is to Scott and Jana out there and the rest of the crew. This is where I got this one from. No, this one came in from a separate one, but most of the beers that you see that I have on here do come from the Boutique. Scott and Jana do a great job. So I am going to go ahead and end the show for now. So remember, Castellum 6 out of 10, and Castellum, if you want to dispute, by all means, please contact me and we'll get you on the show. So that's it for Spirit Time, everyone. And there you have it, everyone. Another show in the books. Thank you very much for watching Javier in the Air. If you have any thoughts, comments, or suggestions, please send me a note and leave it here on my YouTube channel, Javier in the Air, or tag my handle, Javier in the Air 01. And you can always reach me, and I respond very quickly to any and all comments and suggestions and whatnot. If you'd like to be on the show, if you own a mom and pop business and like to be on the show, you don't have to necessarily be in the Cedar Park area. We can get together on Zoom and do a little show work there. Reach out to me and let me know. Always like to get out and see things or go talk to interesting people about their businesses. So also, if you want to be a co-host on the show, just let me know and I'll schedule a time so that we can do it. I believe I have the right setup so that we can get everything going that way. So have a good rest of your week. Have a good Halloween. Happy birthday to my mom out there for Halloween's Day. And you will get a special video from a certain someone next week, just showing something that is done every year. So there you go. Have a good rest of your week. Happy Halloween. I'll see y'all next time.